Good evening and welcome to a new relaxing tutorial. I missed paper sounds and these are probably my favorite triggers when it comes to ASMR. So tonight I will focus on something I've never done as a video theme before, paper folding, and more specifically letters. Envelopes are a quite modern invention in the history of humanity, and we really started to use them during the 19th and even more the 20th century only. Before that, people would simply write their letter and fold it, and sometimes lock it or seal it so no one would open it but the recipient. There was no specific rule when it comes to letter folding, but starting from the 18th century, we could start to see some returning methods, including some that became quite popular in the 19th century. So let's dive straight into what I'm going to use tonight, starting with a few really beautiful papers I've come across. There are 210 texts. This is a letter from Jane Austen to her sister Cassandra that I copied on Canva paper, I think. This is specifically made for letters. This is a poem by Robert Frost, but my handwriting is not really beautiful on this one. I might not use it, but I love this paper. This is parchment. I've also come across these papers with printed handwriting on it. And I think this is very pretty for origami, especially this one. And I have also printed a letter from the 16th century by Alexander VI, a pope. This paper is probably my favorite. This is cotton paper. It has so much character. I really like the texture. It's not the easiest one to fold though. I'm not sure I will use it. And this is umihei, Japanese paper. I'm not sure about the name. And I have slightly aged it with a bit of coffee for more crinkles. I'm also going to use sealing wax. This is real natural wax, by the way, made from pine resin and not these plastic sticks with a wick that I really don't like. I will also use a melting spoon. I have a couple here, and sealing stamps. I have a few different ones. I will also use a ruler, a pen or a pencil, a bone folder, which is optional, but it makes your creases so neat. And for the first folding, I will also use a craft knife. So, the first folding is after the last letter written by Mary Stuart in 1587 to the King of France, Henri III. And this is one of the most interesting techniques I have seen, actually. This is a tutorial that already exists on YouTube and which is quite famous as an intentional ASMR, but I just wanted to make it with my own vibes. So I'm going to use this paper, and this is a technique that works very well whether you have a simple sheet of paper or a double spread. So I will start very simply by folding my letter in two, so I can see where the middle is. And then, this is the thing I prefer about this method, I'm going to cut a very small strip of paper here, starting from the middle. I'm just going to take a wooden board, starting from the middle. Making sure it's still attached at this point, but separated from the main page at the top of it. I'm using a craft knife, but you can do it with scissors. Alright. There it is. Now I will fold it again, following my previous crease, leaving my little strip out. And this is when I can use my folder. Now I will fold it again, but not up to the top. I want to leave about 2 centimeters here. And then simply fold in two. and then one last time into again across the width. And we are done with the folding part. And now I'm going to use this little strip of paper to lock all the layers together. So I will use the knife again. And make a hole right at the center, near the edge, but not on the edge, or else it won't do. It doesn't have to be huge, just about 1 centimeter. But it has to go through all the layers. Now I can put the strip through the hole. Carefully. And I'm going to bring it up again and go through the hole a second time. This will be a little trickier. And I can tuck what's left underneath. And that's it. As you can see, it's quite locked now, and it would be very hard to open it without breaking that little strip of paper, and the recipient would immediately know that someone read the letter. Now let's jump to the 18th and beginning of the 19th century, where letter folding became more standardized, although there was still no rule. There were slightly different versions of the one I'm going to show you, depending on the decade, but overall it is the simplest folding method I will show you tonight. So, here is my letter, and I will start by folding about 2 centimeters, 1 inch on each side of the letter, just like this. You can also simply fold it to the middle, as you prefer. And then I will fold the upper part about 2 or 3 centimeters again. It doesn't have to be extremely accurate. And I will fold the bottom side in 2, almost to the top. And as you can see, the upper folded part and the bottom of the letter will overlap. And this is what we want. Because now I will tuck this flap into the upper part, like this. And the folding is done. Quite simple, as you can see. And now let's pick a stamp. I have the fleur de lis, which I used for one of my 18th century videos. Tree of Life, and the Flower of Life symbol. I'm going to use this one. And I will choose the classic red. Some just break a little piece of the wax stick, but I find it easier to have it melted directly from the stick, as I can just stop when I think I have enough. Here we go. Usually it's quite quick. All right. Let's press it. Maybe I put a little bit too much. Now, don't be hasty. You have to wait a little bit so it can cool down. Alright, let's have a look. And there you have it. Your letter directly from Jane Austen's home. Now, last letter folding, and we're going to move forward to the Victorian era, and less specifically just the whole 19th century, with a folding that was very popular, the love card. So, not really a letter. This is one I made a little bit earlier, but that I haven't decorated yet. This one is more complex than the two previous ones, as it contains a tricky part. But I will try to show it as slowly as I can. So this time we are going to need a square sheet of paper and very accurate folds and creases. Just cutting a regular A4 sheet of paper will be just fine. So you will have a 21 centimeter square. And for this I will take a two-sided paper rather than a blank one, as I think it will be easier to understand which side is what. So I'm going to need a ruler and a pencil as well. So the first steps are quite simple. I will fold my square in two to create diagonal creases. Same on the other side. So I have two diagonals. And then I need three identical parts, and that's when you want to put marks, because you just can't estimate this, or the final folding will drive you nuts. So here, for example, I have a 21 centimeter square, so I will need a mark every 7 centimeters. To do this, I will take a ruler and put a mark at 7 and 14. And the same on the three other sides. Seven, 14. Seven, 14. And the last one. fold it in every direction. I have my marks here. Right. There, it's going to be easier because I have my crease here. And here I have to be as precise as I can. Last one. So as a result, I have 9 squares and 2 diagonals. Now let's turn it over to the other side. And I'm going to fold each corner down to the opposite corner of the center square. So, each corner down to the opposite corner of the center square. For each side, it's easier if you turn your sheet a quarter of the way round each time. The corner, down to the opposite corner, and so on. Last one. And done. Let's turn it over again. And here comes the tricky part. I need to fold 4 of the diagonals I have created at the same time. This one, this one, this one, and this one. I will add a few marks so you can see better. Let's start here. I'm folding this diagonal along the line. It should come quite easily, don't force it. Down across the middle, so the corner here should match the corner of our center square. And I will do it for each side, keeping each part in my fingers without pressing them yet. The first one is always easy. Then this one. See? This one. And this one. And once I have the four of them, I can press it should fall naturally into place. And here is our beautiful star shape. You will need to practice a little bit. I could only get it right with my second sheet of paper. And if you have succeeded with the first one, congratulations. Now I can fold each pointy part over the center square. And tuck the last one under the first one. All that is left to do now is to decorate each part and maybe put a little present in the small box we have here. I'm going to take my blank version. This one was just for the tutorial. And I will start decorating it silently. I may use a bit of watercolor. And I will probably not finish it today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as always, I wish you